Let me paraphrase something that Stephen Covey very wisely said. He said, do you want to be understood? Seek first to understand. The first key to good communication is to listen. And by the way, the wise man in Proverbs said something I've thought about many times, and I'll paraphrase him as well. He said, even a foolish man looks wise when he keeps his mouth shut and listens. Sometimes we think that sharing our faith is about us talking. There's a time to talk, but it's only after we have listened. What does that outsider feel? What do they think? What do they think about us? Be empathetic. Get in their shoes if you can. Try to see us through their eyes. Remember, by the way, that the rules have kind of changed in the last 30 or 40 years as it concerns faith and Christianity and the assumptions that people carry in our society. We're living in a postmodern, post-Christian culture, and we have to understand the culture in order to speak to it. We need to learn to listen. Let me take a couple of minutes and read some excerpts from a wonderful, although in some ways horrifying, new book of research that's recently been published called Unchristian, written by David Kinnaman. The Barna Research Group did a huge study of those who are outside the faith, especially the emerging generation, and asked them, what do they think about Christianity? What do they think about Christians in the church? And here's some of what Kinnaman writes. He said, when it comes to matters of faith, outsiders are skeptical of the Jesus shtick. Only 1/3 of young outsiders believe that Christians genuinely care about them. And most Christians are oblivious to these perceptions. 64% of Christians said they believe that outsiders would perceive their efforts as genuine. This is especially significant because Christians were very accurate in anticipating many of the negative perceptions of outsiders, but being perceived as insincere surprised believers. Showing genuine interest in someone is hard to fake. In other words, statistically, many of us think that we're connecting with an outsider in a way that they're receiving as positive, but if we really listen to them, most of them are saying, you know, don't tell me what you think and what you think is true. Care about me as a person. Get to know me. Listen to me. And then let's talk about faith. The title of this book, Unchristian, reflects outsiders' most common reaction to the faith. They think Christians no longer represent what Jesus had in mind, that Christianity in our society is not what it was meant to be. A few more words from Kinnaman. The primary reason outsiders feel hostile towards Christians, and especially conservative Christians, is not because of any specific theological perspective. What they react negatively to is our swagger, how we go about things, and the sense of self-importance we project. Outsiders told us that the underlying concern of Christians often seems more about being right than about listening. There is an undercurrent of arrogance that outsiders perceive. This raises the implication that even the correct answers, if expressed in an unchristian way, are totally out of tune with the skeptical generation. If Christians are perceived as difficult to live with, and if they do not respond in godly, appropriate, and humble ways to people's questions and doubts, we permit the hijacking of Jesus simply by leaving our voice out of the conversation. It's an indictment, but it's one that we can respond to and overcome. We simply, in humility,